Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Good morning. Got a small group today. We got a small group. I love it. Be honest, sometimes I like the smaller groups. It's much more fun to talk to people, right? Okay, how's it going? It's Friday. All good? Right. We are going to talk today about my listing system. You ready for that? Mm-hmm. Who wants to take more listings? Okay. I love it. I love it. Who, I'm just curious, out of this call, how many of you really mastered being a buyer's agent before you started taking listings? Great. You're going to love next week's call. Next week's call, I'm going to tell you how important it is to be an excellent buyer's agent before you can be an even better listing agent. The stronger you are at negotiating contracts for buyers, I'm telling you, the stronger you are at negotiating contracts for buyers, the better you are at being a listing agent. The more listings you will get, the more buyers you help. So I'm just going to put that out there for all of you who are like, I just want to help sellers. I just want to help sellers. I actually had this conversation with someone not too long ago who's like, I just want to help sellers. I'm like, okay, how many buyers have you helped? 0. Oh. Joyce not muted. Joyce not muted. Oh, sorry. 0. I've helped 0 buyers. And I'm like, well, how do you expect to navigate a contract if you haven't even helped a buyer, right? So little things are important like that. But anyway, my point today is I want to teach you about my listing system, because how many of you believe that if the more seamlessly you can bring a listing to market, the more likely you are to create a raving fan from your client, right? And we all know that there's no such thing as a stress-free experience. There's no such thing as a stress-free transaction. So if any of you are using the words stress-free in your marketing, stop. Stop. It's a lie. It's a complete lie. Stop lying to people and telling them you're going to try to make the process as stress-free as possible. Because if someone doesn't buy or sell a house normally, any stress is going to feel like a lot of stress. So anyway, if you're putting that in your marketing, I just saw that the other day. I was like, oh, we got to stop saying stress-free. Anyway. Okay. So listing system, here we go. So I'm going to show you today what I do to not to market a listing. I'm not telling you what I do to market listings today. Okay. We're not talking about marketing. We are going to talk about how I bring a listing to the market. The system for bringing a listing to the market. And that's where it's that's where you got to be organized. You got to have a process. You got to have a system, because the more systematic you are, the more seamless it becomes, the more likely your clients are to become raving fans. My business, just a little before I get there, I got to just say, the reason why I'm a huge proponent of raving fans, I have everyone on my team read raving fans, is because my business is 87% organic. 87%. I spend a tiny bit of money on ads, tiny bit of money on marketing. Most of the marketing money I spend is just spent on marketing listings, right? So most of my business is organic, and most of it is not even, it's just from organic Facebook and Instagram, and lots and lots of referrals. Lots. And it's been that way for the last 5 years. And even in this market where a lot of people are like, I got to do more marketing because my referrals are down. I'm like, no, I mean, you can, absolutely. But the better you can provide, the better service you can provide to your clients that are in front of you right now, the more likely they are going to refer you when they're happy, the more likely they're going to refer you in the long run. Your sellers, when you're putting a listing on the market, you should be getting 2 to 3 referrals from your sellers as they're going to market. I just got 3 from my seller that I just put their listing live. So there's multiple reasons we do this. So I'm going to give you one, and this is not written down. So the very first piece of my system is in the onboarding process. And the onboarding process is not the listing appointment. Okay. So after the listing appointment, there is an onboarding. There's a step called onboarding. The listing appointment is literally, it's a conversation. I'm going in, I'm just being like, hey, let's talk about I don't even go, let's talk about your goals. I've already talked about those before I get to the listing appointment. But the listing appointment is literally just okay, I want to take a video of your house, and this is the next step. the next step is onboarding. Here's what we do in the onboarding process, okay? Number one, my clients will fill out the intake form. Let me give you an example of an intake form. If I can pull it up, maybe, hold on. I didn't prepare to pull this up. Sorry. Sometimes Friday mornings get kind of crazy. Okay. I'll pull it up in a second. So my clients fill out an intake form prior to the onboarding appointment. Okay. It's a Google form. It's automatically sent out to them through Follow Up Boss. We have automation, so it's automatically triggered. And then I have a Zap set up from Follow Up Boss to my Google chat space that says a form was received. I grab that form, I put it into their Google Drive. And then when I go to the onboarding appointment, I have the intake form there. So on that intake form, that's when I'm asking them a ton of questions. Like, what are your goals? Like, I've already asked these questions verbally, but I want them to put the goals in writing, especially when it comes to selling homes, especially because with marketing costing so much money to market a home, I got to make sure someone's actually going to sell their house, right? Like, I don't want someone who's just going to put their house on the market and be like, okay, I changed my mind. You know? So we have the verbal conversation, but then I have them put it in writing on the intake form. So remind me, and I'll pull that up toward the end of this, or maybe like Cyan can remember that. I got to pull up the intake form. Okay. So that's the intake form. So I go to the onboarding appointment. I've got the intake form printed out, or we're doing the onboarding appointment via Zoom. Even better, right? I love it. You don't even have to go in person anymore. It's right down the street. Most of my listings are within like a 10-mile radius of my house. So I try to have as much in-person time as possible because I like the face-to-face, but you can always do it via Zoom too. Okay. So at the onboarding appointment, after we've done after we reviewed the intake form, then we're signing the listing agreement. Okay. I always sign the listing agreement with them either face-to-face. And if we're doing a digital version of the listing agreement, they have a video that I've already pre-recorded that walks them through every single thing that they're signing. A seller commission, if there's buyer agent commission, the expiration term, the tail provision clause that we have here in Washington. We have a tail provision, right? I walk them through all of those things. So they've already seen everything, and then we're signing it in person. Okay. Then what happens is once I get the listing agreement signed, there's 3 forms I bring to the listing appointment, and it's Cyan, if you can write this down too, I will share with you. I will give you my checklist of what to sign first. Okay. Because I don't need every single thing in the listing packet signed right away. In order for me to do my job, I have to have the listing agreement signed, and that's it. Okay. So then what happens is after I've done that, then I give them their checklist. So they get a checklist. Every person gets a customized checklist. That checklist I have created before this appointment, by the way, because I went to the listing appointment and I took video of the entire house. And a lot of that video caught really important conversation that reminds me, hey, I need to remember this. And it also helps me for marketing remarks, by the way. Okay. So we've got the listing agreement signed. They're getting their next steps. Then depending, if you guys have seen my marketing packages in the past, I have 3 different packages that my clients choose from. One of those packages includes me basically being the project manager and managing everything. Literally everything. Hiring contractors, hiring cleaners. I cover it and they pay me out of escrow, right? There's a lot of stuff there. And if they don't do that, then there's like different steps. So based on the marketing package they chose, I let them know a checklist of exact next steps. The other thing that we do to make sure it goes seamless is every single client will get an appointment on their calendar. So if I have a deep cleaning scheduled, I have deep cleaning on my calendar, and then that gets put onto their calendar as well. The invite, they're added to the invite. Photos on my calendar, invited to their calendar. And they always know. I'm like, you got to accept the appointments. I need you to accept the appointments. That's the way I know they're confirming, right? Okay. So what happens is right about now, after I've given them their next steps checklist, then I say to them, hey, you know what? Throughout this process, we're going to become best friends for the next couple of months. If there's anything you need from me, any sort of feedback you have for me, please share it with me. And also just remember that I want to work with more people just like you. So as you're going through this process, if you know of anybody who is considering selling their house, I would love for you to think of me. And I say that to every single person. Because every single person, guess what? That's how I got 3 referrals. Because when someone like you guys know what the reticular activator system is, right? The RAS. Does anybody not know? Okay, cool. Because when people are focused on something, they're going to have more people who are focused on something, right? Like that's why door knocking for open houses is really helpful, or door knocking new listings, neighborhoods for new listings, like 40 homes around the listing is really helpful, because usually someone else in that neighborhood is going to be thinking about selling. So that's why door knocking is really beneficial around neighborhoods. I don't propose door knocking just randomly. I think it's weird. But if you have a specific reason to door knock a neighborhood, like tell them, hey, your neighbor's house is on the market. You're going to have an open house this weekend and it's going to be out of control. Traffic. Just let me know if you have a problem. Right. Okay. So you guys following along? You following along? I'm going to show you my system here in just a second. I promise you I'll get there. Okay. So now, once they've got their checklist and once I do my work, then I let my CRM take over. Okay. So from this point forward, I'm checking with my clients occasionally, checking a couple texts or the phone call, voice memo every now and then. But this is when my CRM takes over. And so this is where the magic happens. The more you can automate getting your clients, where'd you guys go? The more you can automate getting your client to the market, the easier it's going to be for you. The less organization you have to manage. All you got to do is have someone manage the system for you. Okay. Wendy's got something funny going on in that car over there. You guys see her? She's like laughing. Okay. Wendy's in San Diego. They're at a big EXP event in San Diego. Okay.
Hi.
Hey. Did it say?
This is crazy driving here. Like you say, the wall is really close to my cheek.
Well, you're in California. Hello.
I know.
The word California driver doesn't just come out of nowhere. Wait a minute. Is that who? That Herb? That Herb? Love it. Okay. So you guys, here is where the magic happens. The automation takes over. The listing agreement is signed. We have moved forward, right? We are ready to go. So this is where I've essentially set up inside here, the listing agreement signed. I have set up emails and text messages that will automatically go out to my client to remind them of things that need to happen. For example, there is the seller homework. Oh, sorry, let me back up. So as soon as we have the listing agreement signed and they've got their checklist, we use a tool called Client Giant. I can have Cyan grab my affiliate link and she can put it in the chat for you right now if you're interested in using Client Giant. Here's the thing about Client Giant. This is why I love it. First of all, it's $99. It's it, $99. And every single one of my buyers and sellers gets a gift at the very beginning. Once they sign that listing agreement and we're moving forward, they automatically get plugged into Client Giant. And then Client Giant sends them just listed kit or a happy shopping kit. Okay, there you go. Raving fans right away. Okay, then the CRM takes over. CRM is going to send out an email that says this one here. Hi, client. We're getting closer to being ready for the market. I need to gather some detailed information about your property. This information is essential to make sure we are accurately representing your home. Because the thing you want to remember is that we all have seller disclosures that have to be filled out, right? People always ask, what do they always ask? Buyers are always asking, how much are utilities? Who's the electricity? Like there's a lot of disclosures we have to have in Washington that disclose all this stuff anyway. And I don't want my client to have to fill all that paperwork out. And I don't want to have like 5 million texts back and forth to be like, oh, who's your utility company? Is it this company? Is it this company, right? And also, how many of you work with septic systems? There's a lot, right? We have tons. I mean, literally, I would say like 70% of my houses are on septic. 70% of my listings are on septic. So with the septic system, there's a couple of other things that people have to know, right? So what they do is they actually click this Google form here. So this form goes out and I tell them it's comprehensive and it's very detailed, but it is going to eliminate back and forth and speed up the process because I hate back and forth. It's my thing. I say that like with passion. Okay. So let's open up this link for you so you can see the seller homework. So it's just simply a Google form. You could do this in Jot form. You could do this in Typeform, however you want to do it. And I have gone through and I've added in some things like little videos, like here's little things you should know. So I need to help you list your house. Let's get ready. Can you guys hear that? Can you hear the video? Okay. In an effort to make sure that we are even more efficient, I really need you to fill out this form. Now, it might take a minute, but I'm going to tell you, this is going to make sure that we don't miss any important details, like your favorite features for my marketing remarks, or for my video, or your favorite spot to eat in the neighborhood, or the video. It's also going to make sure we don't miss important things like age of the roof, age of the furnace, things that buyers ask a lot. It really helps to limit the excess conversation back and forth in the process when we're actually in contract. Having this information up front will definitely be beneficial. Okay, so there are a couple things I need. Okay, so anyway, you can see what the video does, and then this isn't gonna let me go through unless I fill it. So let me go and find one for you that is complete here. Okay, so then you see that the clients come through. And we actually can go by person, because that's what I want, is like a client that's gone through. So Lynea has completed this. And essentially every single question is on here. Like, what's your favorite feature of your home? Tell me about any upgrades or updates you've done. What's the best thing about your neighborhood? Top 5 neighborhood spots, school district, et cetera, et cetera. Anything specific you want us to mention in our marketing. If you are working with luxury clients specifically, there's always something very specific they want you to mention in their marketing. Right. And always, like, even if you're not, like, you have people who've lived in their house for 30 years. Oh my gosh, we love our neighbors. And you got to be careful about that in your marketing, but you want to have your clients have the chance to share whatever they can about their home. Right. So what's your heat source? Who's your provider? Like, what's your average utility cost? So there's a ton of stuff on here. I have little videos on here that talk about a septic tank, right? Because septics are like a big thing for me. So here's what I need you to do. Do you need a referral? Okay. And the cool part about this is as soon as someone fills this out, I have a Zap, like I said, in here that is set up in our chat space here that is called Forms Received. And it comes through and it tells me, look, seller homework received. So super easy. Then all I have to do is go in and click on this link, and it's going to take me right to the drive that actually contains that seller homework. And then in here, you can also see that that's where clients can upload any HOA docs, any, like if there's a well, because we have a lot of shared wells around here, any maintenance receipts, anything like that. They're all here. So then what happens is my admin comes in. So I don't even touch this, by the way. This is not a Lynea touching this. My admin comes in as soon as we get this invite or this message. She comes in and she moves this into the client's Google Drive. So now the client, because they have access to their Google Drive, okay, because they have access to their own Google Drive, they can actually see everything that they filled out. So this is what makes the process super, 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 super seamless, because this is all done and I'm not touching it. And I have just answered a million questions that I would probably have with my clients right up front. Okay, so any questions on that? Okay, how many of you are going to implement something like that right away? Please do. Please do. Use Zapier and let the Zap do the work for you to tell you in, so you don't have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth and monitor it. But I'm going to tell you, if you can get your CRM to do most of the work for you on this particular piece, it is going to save you so much time. Promise you. Okay. So then what happens is there are some additional emails that are sent out, right? So there's a reminder to send the the seller homework, a text to remind them of the seller homework. Okay. And if we haven't gotten it by X amount of times, we have to send another reminder. Okay. Then there's an email that talks about pre-listed. And this email is amazing. Every single client responds to this. Literally, I've never had no one not respond to this. Okay. How many of you ask your clients, what can I do better? Do any of you ever ask your clients that question? How can I be better at what I'm doing? It's a scary, scary, scary question to ask. Everyone's always scared. But this question is so amazing. I've gotten so many great responses from clients. And then I'm just going to give you a little hint, and this is not the system we're talking about today. The reason why I like the what can I do better, or how is the process going? Do you have any questions? But this one specifically is because usually they're going to say what they need. I need more communication. right? I need X, I need Y. Or they're going to say, I don't really know yet because I'm not far enough along. And so I'm triggered to be like, okay, let me make sure I'm giving them super clear guidelines, a super clear process map, right? But what happens is with this question, if any of you have ever heard about how I ask for reviews, I use this answer. What can I do better? Lynea, I really need to know a little bit more about the process. Okay, so the first time I ask for a review, it's, hey, you remember on day 15 of the process, I'll give them the date, whatever the actual day is, right? Remember how you said that you needed more communication? Do you feel like you've gotten more communication since then? Do you feel like the communication has been better? Do you feel like we are right on point with where we need to be? And the answer is usually yes. And you're like, cool. Could you do me a huge favor? Can you put this, I basically copy and paste that, right? Because I'll do it on a text message, copy and paste that, and then I'll put that and say, like, could you write this into my Google reviews, please? Because when you remind a client of how you made them happy, they're going to write you a review. And most times people can't think about what they want to say on a review anyway. So this is, by the way, this is how you get raving fans, right? You ask for referrals up front. You ask for reviews up front. And then you just got to follow through on that. So don't ask for referrals and reviews and then do a really crappy job. Like that's kind of like opposite of the point. But anyway, so this is where the CRM really, really, really does the heavy lifting for you. You come through and it's got all the checklists. So we have it all mapped out by like what day we want to do all these things. Okay. This is a note that's like, this is a complete listing packet. So I told you in the beginning, I just get the listing agreement signed, but these are the lists. These forms are required and they have to be completed in order to have a complete listing packet by this day. Okay. And so it's all in here and the entire thing, the entire transaction is automated. So I am not doing any of the work. So then what happens is the listing goes live and then we begin our listing marketing, which is a totally separate class. There you go. So that is how I bring a listing live. That is how I prep my clients. And that is how I ensure that my business is primarily referral, even in a market where I'm hearing people saying referrals isn't working anymore. It's not true. Referrals are working. Referrals are going to be what's going to take you through your business, through any ebb and flow is going to be referrals. It's how you lead the customer up to remind them that you want referrals. It's how you provide this service that you provide to them to be able to deserve the referrals. Okay, Joy, you had your hand raised.
So I've been trying to do this since I became a realtor, and it's been too long. This is not my genius zone, shall we say. Okay. Who do I bring in to help me create these systems? Because I have tried and tried and tried.
Well, here's the deal.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Is that a good question? It's a
great question. It's always who, not how. That's a
right.
great question. If you haven't read that book, by the way, make sure you read that. Who, not how.
It's good. And that's what I have to ask myself. Like, who? I can't do it. I think I can do it. And I keep trying. And then another year goes by and I haven't done it.
Okay. Well, the first thing is you have to think about like a system is never complete. I am literally always changing it. I was on a training call yesterday. I was like, oh, shoot, I got to change that. I don't know who I was talking to. It was Juliana. I'm talking to Juliana. And I was like, oh, look, I got to change this. And I just did, right? So systems are always changing. Okay. So just remember that. So when you bring a who in, it's not going to be like, if it's going to be a VA, it's not going to be perfect because you're always going to change it, especially just because I know you on a more personal level. I know that's true.
Really, I'm going to change it.
Yeah, you're going to change it. But anyway, it's a high D thing. It's a high D thing. It's never perfect. Okay. So here's the deal. What I would say is if you're trying to develop a system like this, you first of all need to just start with a brainstorm. You need to grab a piece of paper and you need to write at the top of your paper, write a question. Any of my trainings, I tell you this all the time, write a question at the top of the paper. The question is, how do I bring a system to the market? And that's exactly how I started. Like I could probably dig through my Google Drive and show you like all the different like ways that we've kind of started this whole thing. Okay. Like how do I bring a listing to the market? What do I currently do? And you really got to allow yourself time to think about that. And then you need to think about what do I want to do?
Right.
And this is where you like really get comfortable in asking some clients for some advice for some feedback. Because sometimes like you're going to think that you do something really well and they're going to be like, no, I don't. Right. I thought differently. Or they're going to be like, yeah, you're amazing at that. And you're like, yeah, validation. Right. So that's what I would do. I would start there first. And then what's going to happen is when you know where you want to go, then what you do is you create a job description and you say, okay, I need someone who can help this visionary out. I need an integrator to my visionary. I'm a visionary. I personally am a visionary. Okay. My thoughts are fragmented. My vision is not. Thoughts are fragmented. Vision is not. Okay. So you need an integrator who knows how to dig and ask the questions to be able to put your vision to life. And so that's who you need. Who specifically that person is, I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to start with like where you are today, where you want to go, be very clear about where you want to go, and then make a job description for an integrator that can help you, and then post that job description.
Okay. That's very helpful. Thank you. I don't mind tweaking things, in the future, but that initial setup, I don't know if it's something about how my brain works, sitting down and doing it step by step. I just can't make myself do it for some reason. And I hate to say that. I hate to say can't, but apparently I can't or don't want to.
You can, you probably just don't want to.
I probably don't want to,
because it's not your genius zone.
No,
for me, it's like, it's not my genius zone either, believe it or not, but I really like to have a system because for me, like what's even less of my genius zone is my brain having a million thoughts that are not finished.
Right. It's stressful.
Yeah. Wondering, did this get done? Did this get done? Did this get done? Did this get done? I don't like that. I'd rather just be like, okay, cool. It's going to get done. I know the system's going to handle it. So for me, that's how I prioritize just getting it done. Because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to put this out. And I did that.
And that's really helpful about the integrator, because that's the role I always need. And yeah.
Yep. You need an integrator, man. They're few and far between. Like integrators are definitely a high C.
Mm-hmm.
Really high C. And for us, the high Ds, the high Cs we communicate very differently.
Right.
But that's what you need.
I do need a high C.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Was this helpful? All right. Any other questions?
I have a quick question. I need to start using Zapier. Do you have a training online, maybe a past recording I could take a look at?
I personally don't know. I just like the hard part about me and Zapier is I actually mess it up all the time. But we could probably hold on. We might actually, Rachel, Cyan, can you take a note of that and just see? Because I might actually have something. So let me get back to you on that one.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you, Lynea.
Like little pretty simple zaps. Like I shouldn't lie. Like I actually set up all those zaps myself. So they're like, if I can do it, I promise you they're really not that hard. But I just copied someone else. So let me go.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me see if I can figure it out. Yeah, of course. Crystal.
Good morning. So with your checklist, I noticed you are going into like a special system, but can we just like use like a checklist like yours, and then it would, or what kind of form? Where are you sending them for the form?
That's Google Forms.
Oh, it is just Google Forms.
Yeah. So everything I do is in Google Workspace, mostly because I already pay for it anyway. So I might as well just use all the things. And then I use Zapier to send it from Google Workspace to Google Chat. And I created a space inside Google Chat for all forms. And it's a really quick reminder. And then the cool thing is if you use Google Forms, it automatically saves it into a Google Drive for you. So it's all within Google.
So you need to do it in the Google Chat. They don't just fill out the form in the form and then you get it? Or why do you have to?
Because you don't know that they did it unless they tell you. So the Google Chat is just the reminder is just a reminder, an alert.
Okay.
Yeah. Because for me, I'm like, I take, right now I have one active listing. I've got 5 currently that I'm bringing to market in the next 3 weeks. So with that, there's a lot of things. So if I don't have like little reminders popping up, it's kind of like a text reminder, like, hey, your reminder for an appointment. That's why I like it. So I don't
like, I know my CRM does that. It does text messages with your email if you like put it on a smart plan.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking for me, I could just kind of put it on a smart plan, but then you put it in a Google form and then you have shared access for that form. And then you just use that form for your listing. Is that what you're doing?
I use that form. I use that form for me to fill out the list because we can't actually use that. But I guess you could. I had one client who filled out everything I love about my house is like 2 pages long. So I just put that on the supplements. So that was cool. But yeah. And so the reminder is more like once a Google form is filled out, you don't get an alert from Google. Like it doesn't tell you that it was filled out unless you have a reminder to go back and check that it was filled out. So that's why I do the reminder in Google Chat, because that's like, that's just kind of like my reminder. Or Cyan, my admin, is on there as well. So she can also go in and check on it. So it kind of,
you're getting the reminder, but your clients are not. That's just for you.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you also still have them fill out the MLS listing supplement sheet?
Nope.
No.
I do that. They have to fill out the seller disclosures because I can't touch that.
Right.
But the listing input form, I fill that all out based off of the seller home.
That. Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. D asked, is Google Chat like ManyChat? No, it's very different. Google Chat is more like Slack. So if you know what Slack is, it's a communication platform. And that's exactly what Google Chat is. It allows us to have one-stop communication for multiple people. I have everyone on my team talk to me on Google Chat because how many of you have 1 million text messages that come through your phone every day, right? Mm-hmm. And like I have people want like text messages, and I'm having people come in, it's like a thing. So it's like I tell my team, you have to talk to me on Google Chat, or else because their text messages will probably get ignored because my clients are gonna come to the surface. So my team talks to me on Google Chat, and my clients talk to me on text message. So, okay, cool. Well, thanks you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Joy, you can, if you want to just book a call on my calendar, I can walk you through the systems. As you know, you have that private link. So cool. All right, guys.
I appreciate that.
Yep. Have a great day.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.